Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Master Duel Dark Magician deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is an extremely powerful, nostalgic deck to play on Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel that's based around the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense, the Dark Magician. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like in your name description for any single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing two copies of the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense, the Dark Magician. You really only need two copies of this card in the build because it's so easy to get to, and it's an amazing boss monster that we can summon out a bunch of different ways in this build. We then play a single copy of Dark Magician Girl. This card is an awesome combo piece in the deck, but you only need a single copy of Dark Magician Girl in this deck to be able to work with your copies of the Dark Magicians. We then play a single copy of Apprentice Illusion Magician. This card is a definite one-of in the deck that can actually search out your copy of Dark Magician, which is amazing, because you can special summon this card from your hand by discarding one card, and if this card is normal or special summon, you get to add Dark Magician from your deck to your hand, which is a really cool effect. It also has the ability during damage calculation, if your other Dark Spellcaster monster battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or face up from field to the graveyard, and that monster that you control gains 2,000 attack and defense points, pushing your copy of Dark Magician all the way up to 4,500, so you can match a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which is insane. We then play a single copy of Timaeus the United Dragon. This card is a definite one-of in the build because this card is basically a walking polymerization. We then play three copies of Magician's Rod. Magician's Rod is an amazing 3-of in the deck because this card is actually a searcher when you normal summon it out to your side of the field. It's probably the best normal summon in the build, because when this card is normal summon, you can add a spell or trap card from your deck to your hand that specifically lists the card Dark Magician in its text, which is a really cool ability to be able to search out a bunch of different cards off this card's ability. We then play three copies of Magician Souls. Magician Souls is one of the most powerful cards in the entire deck, and a definite 3-of in this build. This card is an amazing draw engine and can also summon out your copy of Dark Magician, with the ability that you can send up to 2 spells and traps from your hand or face up from field to the graveyard to be able to draw that many cards, which is an amazing effect for this card to be able to do. To be able to send 2 spells and traps from your hand or your field to the grave to just draw 1 or 2 cards is an amazing ability for this card to have just to help you dig into the deck. It also is really easy to summon to your side of the field because you can send a level 6 or higher spellcaster monster from your deck to the graveyard to activate one of these effects. Either special summon this card or send it to the graveyard to special summon Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your grave, which is a really cool ability. We then play 2 copies of Illusion of Chaos. Illusion of Chaos is a definite 2-of in the build because we can search this card off of Preparation of Rites, which is why we just play 2 in the deck. But this card is a really cool ability that you can reveal this card in your hand to add a Dark Magician or a non-ritual monster that mentions it from your deck to your hand. Then place a card from your hand on top of your deck, which is a really cool effect for this card to have to basically just search out your copy of Magician Souls. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is an amazing hand trap at just stopping your opponent from touching the deck. It's just a powerful card in this deck overall. We then play 3 copies of Maxi. Maxi is insane that this card is still a 3 in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and it's definitely a 3-of in the deck. Basically just to draw a card every time your opponent special summons, which is just absolutely insane. Either your opponent's going to stop special summoning, or they're going to keep special summoning, and we're going to draw into some insane hands, which is just really cool. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Magician's Salvation. This card is definitely a 1-of in the deck that has the ability, when this card is activated, you can set an Eternal Soul directly from your deck, which is super cool to instantly get that card on your side of the field. And if you normal or special summon Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, then you can target one of those monsters and special summon Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your graveyard with a different name than that monster. Essentially meaning that if you summon out either Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, you get the other one to your side of the field as well, well, getting you 2 monsters for the price of 1, which is amazing. We then play a single copy of Secrets of Dark Magic. Secrets of Dark Magic is a definite one-up in the build because this card is basically a fusion spell for Dark Magician, which is so cool to help you summon out the Dark Magicians to your side of the field. We then play a single copy of Crossout Designator. Crossout Designator is a definite one-up in the build just to stop your opponent from hand-trapping you while you're going in for all of your plays. We then play 2 copies of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is definitely a 2-of to go with your copy of Crossout Designator just to make sure that you don't get hand-trapped while you're going in for all of your plays. We then play 2 copies of Dark Magical Circle. Dark Magical Circle is an amazing 2-of in the build because this card helps you out so much that when this card is activated, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Then you reveal either Dark Magician or a spell or trap card that specifically lists the card Dark Magician among them and add it to your hand. Also, place the remaining on top of your deck in any order, which is really cool that you get to actually see the cards on top of your deck and place them back in any order so you know what you're going to draw into later. And if Dark Magician is no more special summon to your side of the field, then you can actually target a card your opponent controls and banish it, which is a really cool effect combo with your copy of Eternal Soul. We then play 3 copies of Soul Servant. Soul Servant is really good as a 3-of in the deck because it lets you place 1 card on top of your deck from your hand, deck, or graveyard that is Dark Magician or specifically lists Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl in its text, except another copy of this card. Also, during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard to draw cards equal to the number of Paladinian monsters Dark Magician and or Dark Magician Girl with different names on the field and or in the graveyard, which is going to get you a maximum draw of 2 in this build. We're playing Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl. Plus, this card combos really well with your copy of Dark Magical Circle, which is just absolutely insane. We then play 3 copies of Preparation of Rites. Preparation of Rites is amazing as a 3-of in the build just to search out your copy of Illusion of Chaos so that we can search out our copy of Magician Soul, which is just absolutely crazy. We then play 3 copies of Super Polymerization. This card is insane in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel right now. Helping you break your opponent's board is just really good, and this card is a definite 3-of in the build just to break your opponent's board so you can summon out boss monsters from your extract and just deal with your opponent's field. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start off with 2 copies of Eternal Soul. I absolutely love this card as a 2-of in the deck. You can easily get to it with Magician's Salvation, but it's a really good 2-of because every Dark Magician in your monster zone is unaffected by your opponent's card effects, which is a really cool ability to use with this card. And if this face-up card leaves the field, destroy all monsters that you control, which is a little bit of a downside on this card, but it has a really cool ability that once per turn, you can actually special summon Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard, which is an amazing ability instantly to keep summoning out your copy of Dark Magician to your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Impermanence is really good in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel right now at just negating your opponent's monster effects while also locking down an entire column of spells and traps. This card is really powerful and a definite 3-of in the deck. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start with a single copy of the Dark Magicians. This is our main boss monster we're going to summon all the time from the extract, and it's an amazing card that has the ability once per turn. If a spell or trap card is activated, then you get to draw a card. And if it was a spell or trap card, you can set it to your side of the field, and if it's a trap or a quick play spell, you can activate it this turn, which is an amazing ability for this card to have to get you instantly to the exact cards that you need, while also digging into the deck. And if this card is destroyed, you can special summon both Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl from your hand, deck, or graveyard, which is amazing that you get both of them off this card if it gets destroyed, which is just super cool about this card. We then play a single copy of Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. This card is really good to be able to summon out with your copy of Timaeus because this card becomes Dark Magician while in the field or in the graveyard, and your opponent cannot target spells or traps you control with card effects, and also they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, protecting your copies of Eternal Soul, which is just really, really good. We then play a single copy of Master of Chaos. Master of Chaos is really good as a 1-of in the deck because this card is just super easy to summon to your side of the field, and if it's fusion summon, you get to target a lighter dark monster in your graveyard and special summon it, which is an amazing effect. I love that about this card, and it's just a really awesome boss monster. We then play a single copy of Garua and a single copy of Mud Dragon. These are our super poly targets we're going to be using to be able to break our opponent's board, and they're amazing to be able to do that. We then play a single copy of Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel is so easy to summon in this deck, and it's just an amazing boss monster because it just requires basically light and dark monsters to make this card. So you can use your copy of Dark Magician plus Magician's Rod to be able to make this card because it doesn't require a tuner. You can treat a light or a dark monster as a tuner, which is amazing. And if this card is special summon, you get to target one card on the field and banish it, which is an amazing ability. And if you put dark monsters in this card, monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle, which is a crazy powerful effect. If you do happen to put a light monster into this card, then single monster controller unaffected by monsters activated effects by your opponent, which is a pretty cool ability, but usually we're just getting that dark ability. We then play a single copy of Access Code. Access Code's amazing as a one-of in the deck, basically just to summon out to your side of the field and go in for game. This card can come out absolutely massive and pop multiple cards on the field. We then play a single copy of Nightmare Unicorn to spin stuff, one copy of Selene so that we can make our copy of Access Code extremely easily in this build, plus we play a lot of spells and a lot of spellcasters in this deck, so this card is very good in this build. Play a single copy of the Dark Charmer. This card is really good in this build to be able to summon to your side of the field to bring back a dark monster from your opponent's graveyard so you can climb into Selene and then Access Code. Play a single copy of IP Masquerena. IP is really good in this deck as a one-of, just to help you climb into cards like Nightmare Unicorn. One copy of Verte Anaconda. Verte is just insane in this deck as a one-of. We then play a single copy of Mduk. Mduk is amazing to be able to turn your copy of Dark Magician into a dragon, which is really good in this deck to be able to do because it just requires a normal monster, which our copy of Dark Magician is, so you can turn your copy of Dark Magician into a effect monster or turn it into basically a dragon so you can summon out Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. We then play a single copy of Artemis. Artemis is amazing in the deck because you can normal summon out your copy of Magician's Rod, get your search, and then turn it into this card, which is just really, really good. We then finally play a single copy of Relinquished Anima because if your opponent does not play around Relinquished Anima, you can eat a monster that they control, which is just insane. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Dark Magician on Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's an amazing deck to be able to play and it's just super fun. I absolutely love playing Dark Magician. It's just a really awesome deck. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.